Hello people of YouTube, and thanks for tuning into this video. So we're going to be looking in depth now at the Donner B1, the Essential B1 as it's called, the analog bass synth. I mean, it's not really setting itself out as being kind of advertised as a 303 clone, but let's face it, it is, but it is quite a lot more. So I got this about 4 or 5 days ago. I've been playing with it quite a bit and going in deeper with it, and it does do a lot more than you kind of think it does on the surface. So I'm really, really impressed with it so far, both with all its kind of functions and features, as well as its sound. So let's start off with a little overview of what we've got. So it's kind of like plastic built. It's sort of roughly the size of like a computer keyboard, that kind of thing. It's quite a nice finish on it. We've got like a shiny black finish here, which I'm sure is going to be a complete nightmare for dust and things, but oh well, there we go. And obviously we've got all the main sound controls across the top, some inputs here, which I'll go through in a sec. But then we've got like function buttons down here. And then we've got a 2-octave keyboard, which is quite nice to have this. Actually a 2-octave plus a bonus B down here as well, because there's C. And we're going up to another C there, so we've actually got 3 C's, which is quite nice. So there we go. Yeah, so straight away you've got more keys than you would have on any other 303 kind of thing, because they only have 1 octave. So that's quite nice from a programming point of view, and that you've not got to skip up and down the octaves as much. So, you know, which is quite nice from a programming point of view. These are kind of like silicon pads. Surprisingly kind of playable. I had on my desk where this is at the moment, I was using a analog key lab as a MIDI controller, which I've actually got rid of because I've got this linked up to all my other MIDI stuff, and I'm actually using this as a MIDI controller as well as a bass synth, because it's size-wise, then it's not that different to a MIDI controller with mini keys. So I'm yeah, saved me a bit of desk space as well, which is always nice. So round the back, we've got audio output, main output, 1/4" TS mono output connector, which is obviously the overall signal going out from the master. We've got a MIDI in, we've got a MIDI out, 5-pin connectors. I won't show you these, you've seen them before, and I don't want to mess up my lovely straight camera angle. We've got a USB-C. So that does you use that for updates and connecting to the app, but also does MIDI over USB as well. So there's no power, no audio over USB, but you can do MIDI. And then we've got there's the USB, and then we've got the power supply as well. So on the front, we've got an auxiliary in, which I've not tested yet, but that's an 1/8" TS audio signal connector. So that's used obviously used for connecting other audio signals into here. I'm assuming it passes through the filter and all that sort of stuff. I've not tried that out yet, something I will have to try that. But it kind of mixes in the sound with the internal synth engine, and then obviously passes out through the main output or the headphone jack, which is here. So there we have the headphone jack. That's something I will try. It might just be like the Roland T8 in that it just kind of passes audio through if you want to like plug a drum machine into here or whatever. I'm assuming that is the case and it doesn't pass through the filter, but if anybody knows any different, or if I find that out, I will add that into this video. Headphone we've talked about there. So again, 8-inch, the 8-inch jack output thing. It's not got a separate volume. It's controlled by the master, but it does give you that headphone output if you wish. Then we've got sync in and sync out for connected like external clock start stop signal things if you want to sync it up to things like Volkers and that kind of thing that have the sync connections. So then we've got like the main synth engine part here. So single oscillator with a square wave and a saw wave, which we switch between the saw and the square using this. So let's turn the delay off and everything. So there is the saw. That's with the filter completely open, filter completely closed, so it doesn't cut it off completely. And then the square, open up the filter, So to my ears, these sound lovely. These, I think these are like really smooth and creamy, if that's how you can describe. But that's the vibe I get, particularly when the filter's down. It's lovely. It's just really warm and smooth and creamy and whatever. Anyway, getting a little bit too carried away with that. Let's just take all the envelope stuff down, just to get. So it sounds lovely. It's analog, you know. It should sound lovely. What's not to like? So that's how we switch between the two there. We've got a tune knob, or a pitch knob as it's called. I believe that's got a range of a fifth interval, I think. So that would go down a fifth. So that would. Yeah, sounds about a fifth. There is a kind of a little notch in the middle, so you can get it back to like it's 0 point, which I do like when you have those on synths, because the Behringer TD3 doesn't have that, and you're not entirely sure if you've got it where it should be on the tune thing. So it's nice to have that. And obviously you've got that facility if you want to go up or down an interval of a fifth. Cutoff does what it says on the tin. And resonance, obviously, we know all about these. Okay, and then we've got the envelope controls over on the next section. So we've got, that's the envelope depth, which is the next one along, and then the envelope decay, which obviously we need a bit of resonance. So with a full decay, or full envelope, that's kind of like quite a nice length of envelope. Let's get it down. See how snappy we can get it. So that's it. It's minimum on the decay. Okay, so yeah, it get reasonably snappy, but perhaps not as snappy as some. Accent obviously does again what it says on the tin. Basically, these are the controls you would expect to have on any kind of 303 sort of thing. Then we've got a couple of added bonus bits here. We've got a saturator, which when we turn it on, we've got an amount, or the drive amount, and we've got a tone. So let's turn that drive up. So we start to get a little bit more volume, and so the tone is quite nice to. You can keep that low end if you want, or get it a bit brighter. Let's get some envelope in there. So that's on full drive. Let's play a pattern. Ooh. So you get some idea of what it sounds like with that drive on. Very nice to have that without having to kind of fork out for extra external delay's coming up in a minute, saturation, overdrive kind of thing. Just saying, I bought this unit with my own money. Donna haven't sent it to me. They don't even know I'm doing this video. I got a really good deal on this. It popped up on eBay. These new go between 100, 120 pounds in the UK. They had some on the Donna eBay shop. It did say it was refurbished. As far as I can tell, it looks brand new. And I got this for about just over 70 pounds. So yeah, absolute bargain. Best 70 quid I've spent in a long time. We've then got a delay unit here. So we turn it off and on with this switch. We've got the usual things. We've got the level of the decay, the time, and the feedback amount. So let's just turn that on. Let's turn the level up. Time. Feedback right up. Feedback on full. But it's a nice sounding delay, actually. We can go really fast on it as well. Okay, so that's basically all the main controls apart from this section down here, and this is where we do all our controlling and editing and things of all the patterns. So let's move on then to the keyboard mode. So when you first turn it on, it's in keyboard mode. So in that basically means we can play these keys and so on. So if we press the, not that button, the octave button, so at the moment it's on the 0 octave, we can go down an octave, back to where we were, so, or up an octave. So we've got quite a decent range on the octave settings, which is quite nice. And then if we want to set the tempo, so these are our up and down buttons, and then we use those to go up and down patterns and other things. So the tempo, if we click on that, you see it's flashing at 120. We can go up and down like that. We can hold it and go up and down in sort of faster increments like that, which is quite useful. And that also acts as a tap tempo as well. So if you just tap in your tempo on there, it will give you the tempo that you're tapping at. Let's leave it on, I don't know, about 130. Something like that would be good. So yeah, that's basically how you do the whatever it's called, the tempo. So when you first turn the machine on, it goes into keyboard mode like this. Now, there's a couple of kind of things. I'm going to do a different section on some of the live performance facilities on it, but you can do some of these here. So if I turn on the accent button, which is this one here, and play the keyboard and let's turn the accent down. That's without. So you can kind of play with the accent with that turned off. Obviously there's no accent. So if you want to just play and have accented notes, you can do that. For some reason, I've really struggled with this because I don't know why, but I feel like the names of the buttons should be written above. So I'm constantly pressing the wrong one on that. That's the only thing I don't like about the unit. And that's just a me problem. It's nobody else. But I don't know why. The amount of times I press the wrong buttons is unbelievable. And I think you'll find when I'm doing this video, that will probably happen many, many times. We've got the hold button, which is this one. Okay, which is going to hold the note as long as it sustains 4. Now, obviously, you've not got a sustain setting on here. It just kind of like fades away. But obviously, when we get into the arpeggiator, which is down here, the hold button becomes more important. Okay, but there is a section coming up on the arpeggiator in a minute, but I just thought I'd cover that bit for now. So let's just create a pattern, and we'll put some accents and slides and things in here. So to record or edit a pattern, you'll press this button, and we can see that it's got a pattern length of 16 steps, and we can scroll through the steps as we play it. And basically what's happening here is the flashing pad is the step that we're on, which is relative to the number up here. And it also then shows you which note you played, which I think is very nice thing there. You can see we're playing an E there, and then we're going to a E flat, D sharp, or whatever, and so on as it goes through. So it's a really useful bit of feedback for when we're playing that. So if I just play that pattern, okay, so you can hear that pattern there. So let's say we want to start, rather than editing that pattern, we're going to start completely from scratch. We've got to make sure record and edit is lit up, and then we're going to press the button below it, which is the clear button, for about 2 seconds until it does that, and then it will initialize the pattern for us. Now, it does keep all the notes in there for you. Basically just plays on that first note. Okay, plays on that B down there. So we can then start to go through. If we make sure we're back in edit and record mode, we can go through the steps and put whatever notes we want in there. So let's go step 1. So let's just do some random A's. Okay, now it's going to move on automatically. And you can see it's filling up. Okay, so that's my random pattern. Okay, so straight away it just gives you all 16th notes, which is quite nice because again on other 303s you've got to put the notes in separately, and then you've got to put the note lengths and stuff in separately. So Now we can do edits as we're putting stuff in, or in fact, let's just do that now. Let's just reset and we'll start a new one just so you can see how we go through. So we're going to put an A in here, and then let's go that one, and then we're going to go up an octave on the next one. So we're on step 4. We're going to press, see, I told you I pressed the wrong button. We're going to press, now it's tempo. Okay, and we're going to go up an octave. See, so it's flashing now on 1. Let's go up another octave. No. And then for the next one, for step 6, we'll go down. And then for step 7, we'll go down again. Okay, so that's put us a few octaves in there. Okay, now as well, you don't have to tell it how long you want the step sequence length to be. If you only program 7 or 8 notes in, it's just going to repeat those round again, which is a nice feature because sometimes if you just program those in, the rest of it is blank. Now you can put rests in there, obviously, if you want gaps, but I quite like that feature. We then have gate length. We can start to change. Let's just put some more notes in here. So let's put in, where's the gate? Okay, let me see. The gate is this one. Okay, so for step 8, we're going to put that note in. Let's just go back to step 8. But the gate, the default setting on gate is 4. Now, if you set it to 8, that's the equivalent of a tie. Okay, so if I tie that and then play the same note again, which note did I play on 8? Okay, let's just put whatever random note in. Okay, so you can see that's now kind of done a tied note in there. Let's put another note in, and I don't know. I'm just going to put some random notes in now and just fill it all up. And then we'll go to, say, this one, and we're going to put an accent in there. So all you got to do when you're in edit mode is press the accent button and it will light up. So as I scroll back through, hopefully down here you can see it lights up on the one. So we've got accents. So let's just put a few in at random. And the same thing with the slides, which is this button here. So let's just put a few in at random. And let's see what we've got. Okay. Instant acid. I kind of feel like I skipped over the gate lengths a little bit more. So yeah, the default setting is 4. You'll hear a bit more of the gate stuff when I cover the arpeggiator. You can probably hear it a little bit more in there. If you set it down to 0, that does then basically act as a rest. So let's say this step. If we go on to gate and take that down to 0. Okay, you can see that pad is now not lit up, so it basically acts like a rest. Let's make just some of these a little, I don't know, let's try this one on. So you've got to hold it down, and then don't need to hold that one down because I've selected that note. Let's see what a gate of 1 sounds like. Okay, I'll put it down here. I thought I was on that note up there. I was on the wrong note. Okay, and let's do one more up here. Let's do this one. Let's see what a gate of 6 sounds like on that one. Okay, so it gives it a slightly longer note. So basically your gate is your note lengths. Again, if you want like short, choppy notes or more legato notes, very nice way of doing that. Obviously, we can change. I've covered sort of changing the octaves on each of these sections, and we've done a tie, which is basically by making the gate length of 8. Okay, and if we did want to put a rest in, rather than having to do it with the gate thing, let's put another rest in. Let's, I don't know, let's go here. We would just press the rest button there. You can see that pad is now not is no longer lit. And we get a rest in there. So programming it is dead easy. I think you think of 303's nightmare programming. I have to admit, I do quite like programming original 303s purely for the randomness. This one does make you probably be a little bit more musical. But you can still go completely random if you want. But yeah, but it is a complete pain in the arse programming an original 303, or indeed many of the clones on that way. We've also got a ratchet function, which I guess if you're using this to sequence other stuff might be useful. I'm not entirely sure how much you would want to ratchet stuff on a 303 sequence, or a bass sequence, but it's there if we want to do it. So which was that short one? Was it so this second note here, yeah, which I've got a gate, because the ratchet works best on shorter gate times, because if you try and ratchet like a gate length of 8, it won't do anything. So this second note here, let's go on to that one. I'm going to press ratchet, which is the second one up, and we can have 1 is like the normal note, we can have 2, 3, or 4. So let's listen to what 2 sounds like. Okay, gives that little kind of glitchy thing in there, which is actually quite nice. Okay, let's see what 3 sounds like. Kind of like a fast little triplety kind of thing. Pretty cool. And then let's see what 4 sounds like. Okay, so that's basically all the editing functions that you can add down here. Obviously, you can see there is a lot of stuff to go out there. So another nice function is when you've made changes to a pattern, the save button, which is this one here, will actually light up to tell you you've not yet saved it. Because if you turn this off and on again, it's going to go back to its original pattern. So if we press the save button, we can see we get this flashing. So it's telling you that we're saving it to a pattern. At the moment, we're saving it to pattern 5. So we'll just save it on pattern 1 for now. And then all you do is choose your location, press save again, it flashes, and then it's now saved. And you can see that is no longer lit up because we've saved that pattern. Okay, so you can see that saved that to pattern 1. If I now go back to pattern 5, it's back to the original pattern. So I've not written over that. It's now on pattern 1. And you may notice as well, so you see if I just change something, at the moment that's not lit up. Let's go into edit mode. Let's just change, I don't know, just the first note. Let's put an accent on there. Okay, so straight away you can see that is now lit up to say you've made a change and you've not saved it. Really nice little feature. I do like that. And then if we go into save, it does have a timeout function. It won't stay flashing like that for a long time. You've not got that long to actually save it. You can see it's gone back to its normal setting. Okay, so that's basically everything on writing patterns and putting all these bits in. So we'll have a look next at kind of some live performance functions, which I think are very cool for Jam. So let's get into that bit now. Okay, so let's choose a pattern. Again, the pattern works same as the tempo as we covered earlier. If you can go up and down one at a time like that, or if you hold it, it will swaz up and down a bit quicker. You get 128 patterns, and there are 128 patterns, I believe, in here when you get it out of the box, which is actually quite cool, the fact that they've given you 128 patterns to work with. Okay, that's quite nice. We'll just stop on 113 for no particular reason. So we can do kind of a live transpose. So it's kind of like default central reference button tuning is C. If you want to get back to the original pattern, is this middle C here. But you press any of these keys, and then back to there, that's going to be where you originally started. Oh, sorry, turning a minute. Thought that was the filter. And then back to its original pattern. We can also kind of like do a sort of a hold repeat thing. So if we press the hold button, which is this one down here. So you can kind of almost like remix your pattern live, and it will hold it for as long as you hold that down. And if you've got a note, a short note on there without any slides or ties, you get this nice repeat. Okay, we can do the same thing with accent. So when you hold it down, it will accent the notes. If I turn it up full here, so each time you press it, it will accent the note. Again, really cool feature. We can do the same thing with a live slide. Slide is this button. So you could just slide the whole pattern. Now, it would be cool if you could record these. At the moment, you can't. That's something that could possibly come up in a future firmware. But if you want to, you know, experiment around with kind of like live performance things of thinking, okay, I'd like to see what the slides sound on all those without programming it, would be really cool if you could record those. We can do live ratchet. Where's ratchet? Here. So hold it down. So that's doing 2 on every note. So get nice little glitchy kind of things. Do 4. Okay, we can do live gate lengths. So you can hear they're now all long, like ties. And you'll kind of hear them getting shorter as I go down. Until we have nothing. But again, you can just like bring that in and out. Really, again, lovely for like just, if you're just doing a jam and you want to just change stuff on the fly like that, absolutely love it. We can do the same thing with rests. So take some stuff out. So if we hold the clear rest button, that's basically going to mute it. Okay, so our next section is step edit mode. If we press and hold the record button and then press a step on it. So let's say we want to edit this step. Okay, so you can see that one is now flashing, which indicates that step editing mode is on, and we can edit that. So we could put a slide on it, we could put an accent on it, we could go like up an octave or whatever. And then if we come out of that, we'd press step edit mode again, which is that one. And then we can see that one has now gone. So if you want to just like zoom in and just like a specific step that you want to do several things to without having to scroll all the way through, you know, without having to find, right, okay, that one, just hold that down. So it's flashing. Oh, no, that one. Hang on, why is it not doing? There we go. Sorry, you don't hold that down. You hold it down and then press one of these when it's flashing, and then you can edit that single step if you wish. So yeah, that's step edit mode. And then the last thing we've not looked at is the Arpegiator, which is the middle button here, which does, as you would expect it to do, it repeats the notes. And there are various different settings. There are 8 different settings on the Arpeggiator. So let's just get a little... In fact, let's go down an octave. I will press hold, so it plays it like that. Okay, so for the Arpeggiator setting... Oh, sorry. Let's try that again. Okay, so the number 1 is up. Basically one octave, basically what you've played. 2 is down. Let's just turn this down a little bit while I'm going through these. 3 is down and up. 4 is random. 5 is going up an extra octave, so up 2, and then down with an extra octave. And then we can go up 3, which is 7, which is like minus an octave, and then down 3, which goes down an octave. So there, you think about this one's going up an octave that way, and 7 and 8 are going down the octave that way. So that is your arpeggiator thing. Well, not your arpeggiator thing, your arpeggiator. A couple of other things you can do with that as well. So let's just get that on and hold it again. Let's just play that again. We can do gate length. Okay, which you can hear works like that. And also accents, which I can never remember where it is, which is there. Okay, so the accents are going to affect every step when that's on. And then we can turn it off to not have them accented if we wish. So again, a reasonably powerful arpeggiator. Okay, so then we have a couple of new features that came in with a recent firmware update, which is the 1.1 update, which was song mode and random patterns. So let's have a look at those now. Okay, so for song mode, let's just go down. I don't know why, but let's start at 100, pattern 100. So what we can do with this is we can chain together different patterns that will go round and round in song mode rather than having to. So let's just actually talk about all the patterns first. So if I'm in pattern, this pattern here. Okay, now as I go through the patterns, it is changing as soon as I press it. It's not waiting for the end of the pattern to complete, which I believe you can change in the app, which I will talk about shortly. But if you want to kind of chain together patterns, basically like a song, we've got song mode, which is a hell of a lot easier than song mode on a normal 303. So to enter song mode, basically what you got to do is make sure it's not playing. Let's just go back down to pattern 100. I don't know why, I just want to. And then we double press the pattern button. That's not the pattern button, that's the tempo button. Told you, I always press the wrong flipping things. I've got to, it'll take some getting used to. Okay, there's the pattern button. Right, we double press it, and it now starts to flash. And you can see here whatever patterns we want to chain together at the moment. So we're going to chain together on here. Let's say pattern 1, we'll do pattern 20. For this one, we'll do pattern 6. For this one, we'll do pattern 9. For this one, we'll do, I don't know, pattern 13. For this one, we'll do 25, whatever. And I believe you can chain up to 16 patterns. I think that's correct. Up to 16 patterns. Now, I think by default on this is we're in song mode. If that's off, these patterns will all play at the global tempo. Okay, but if that is on or off, whichever way around it is, I'm not sure. But if that's lit up, the patterns will play at their own original tempo. So you might have faster and slower patterns. So just be aware of that. And then this button here, if that's lit up, this will chain the patterns round. So it'll get to the end, it'll just keep looping them round. And you can still do the all the live functiony things. You know, all the things that we did before, still while in this this song mode. I don't think there's any way of kind of saving a song as such, as far as I can tell. I don't think. I think you just got to kind of remember what patterns you use. It's not like you've got a bank of the different songs, as far as I know. But again, that might be something that comes in, you know, in later firmware where you could save, you know, up to 16 different songs with 16 different patterns in, all that kind of stuff. Again, if I've missed that, then somebody please let me know, because I'm not fully up to date on the new firmware. And then another thing that was added in the new firmware is a live random feature. So to get out of song mode, you just double press pattern again and we get back into normal pattern. Okay, so to generate a random pattern, all we do is we press play on the record edit button, which is these two here. If we hold that and then we do that. Okay, so you can see that's randomized, like gates and accents and stuff. If we've got a completely clear pattern, so again to clear pattern, what we're going to do is just hold that down till it's cleared. Okay, and then we do a random one here. It will generate random notes as well as all the other stuff. Okay, bit hit and miss with those, as it is with anything random, but it's quite nice just to start as a starting point for a completely random project. So I'm aware this video is getting pretty long, which is why I will have put timestamps in it. If you've got this far with it, well done. I'm just going to switch over to the screen and we'll just talk a little bit about the app that accompanies it. Okay, so this is the app. It's called Donna Control. It's a little bit hit and miss at the moment. You have to use this to update the firmware, and you can kind of access your patterns on here as well, and some other like under the hood controls. I find it takes a while to connect. So you add it. So it's loading now still. So here's where you add your stuff. So if I click on this, let's just put it full screen. It doesn't seem to connect straight away. I seem to have to like. You would think it would connect automatically. See, this is grayed out because it's saying now device offline or DFU mode, which is what you use to update it. If I kind of click on one of these, it kind of thinks about it for a bit. And then eventually, after a while, let's try this one. It will kind of eventually connect, but it seems to take quite a long time. Now I don't know if this, I've tried it direct into my my computer and through a hub as well, and it still seems to be the same issue. You see, it's still not connected. But while we're waiting for it to connect, let's go through a few of these. So you can see you can change your MIDI channels. Got things like key priority, clock source, so you can go internal, the MIDI, USB, trigger automatic or whatever, your rate and all this kind of stuff. So wait until current pattern finished. I believe that is where you can change it so it, well, as I was saying earlier, if you change your patterns, at the moment I had that turned off, I think, so it wasn't waiting for the next pattern finish before it moves on. So that's probably a good one to turn on. Local control, this will turn the keyboard off if you want to just use it as a MIDI controller and you don't want to hear the sound coming from the unit. And then various options to do with all your MIDI through and MIDI forwarding and all this kind of stuff. You can do a factory reset from here. And it's still not connected. So let me turn the unit off and on again. Let's see if it'll connect. Sometimes you've got to do that. Obviously the good old turn it off and on again. And let's see if it will now connect. Oh, now we're getting there. Sometimes when you click on this, we get the old egg timer of doom. And then it thinks about it. And then eventually it connects. Once it does connect, it is kind of like bi-directional. So as soon as you click something on here, it does change it on the unit, on these settings anyway. Not necessarily on the other settings. Okay, let's wait for it. So you can see what a faff it is to get it connected. I'm just going to unplug the USB and put it back in again. Let's see if that does it. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the camera here and we'll see how long it takes me to get it connected. Okay, so I've been fiddling about with this for about 5-10 minutes while the camera was paused. It's not connected at all. So this is something that needs sorting out. I don't know if it's a me issue or the app issue or whatever. So I can't really show you this because it's constantly saying device offline or in DFU mode. Now I've turned it off and on again many times, restarted the app loads and loads of times, so I've given up on it. Obviously this is all pretty self-explanatory. on the presets here, you're not going to see this very well, but across the top, you can choose out of the 128 presets on here. And if you click on the read button here, it will load it in onto this screen for you. So you can see the notes and you can individually edit the notes on those. And then if you just click on save, it will automatically save it to the unit and those changes are done. So if you're more of a visual kind of, you know, learner or whatever, or you want to see the notes that you've put in on a like a piano roll, then you can do that from here, which when it works is pretty good. Oh, it's just come on. Right. Okay. So I've just waited about 3 minutes while I was talking, and now it's come on. So I'm going to try this. So let's turn that on. So now when I go across to my patterns, yeah. So now with that turned on, it will wait for the next pattern to finish before it moves on, which I think is quite a good way. I would generally have that turned on. So let's go through the presets then. So let's just pick a random preset, press read. Okay, the notes are in here. So if I play this on the unit, which is, it doesn't actually change when you change on here, it doesn't change the unit, which the pattern on the unit, which would be nice. At least it doesn't on mine. Okay, so that's that pattern. This is a visual representation of that pattern that I've just played. So let's say we kind of just swaz some notes about and then just click save. Now the pattern. Okay, so we can hear we've got that note in there. We can right click on it and we can slide, we can do ratchets, accents and all the other stuff on there. So yeah, it's another kind of good way of having a visual representation of your patterns. And then the update is another thing which doesn't seem to be working very well. So I think when mine came, it was on version 1. So version 1.1 is the one with song mode in, but then there's obviously been a recent update of 1.1.2. Now I've tried for the last 2 or 3 days. I click upgrade now. It says, are you sure you want to do it? It does this. It goes to 6%, stays on 6% for ages. Then it goes to like 96%, and then it just says unable to upload the firmware. So again, I've given up on that. So yeah, that's not great, but everything else is great on it. Okay, so let's just go back to the unit here, and we'll do a little bit of a conclusion. I've been looking at these units for a long time, and I kept thinking, I've got enough 303 stuff. Do I really need one? I'm so glad I got it. It sounds fantastic. Okay, it doesn't feel massively premium, but it's got a reasonable weight to it. It's okay. Like I say, this unit cost me, I think, £71, which is an absolute bargain. The oscillators sound fantastic. They're, as I said at the beginning of the video, they're so fat and creamy. It just makes me happy every time I listen to those. Filter is great. You can make it scream with the saturator. We've got the delay. A little bit of reverb would be nice, but hey, you know, we can't have everything. Great for connectivity. We can use it as a MIDI controller, which I'll probably do a separate video about. So I think it actually looks quite nice. It's a little bit sort of space agey. These are reasonably playable. These, for some reason, throw me out with the things being underneath, but that's just a me problem. I will get over that. But in general, really, really, really impressed with it. It's the first bit of gear I've had from Donna. And I know they do drum machines and other things, so I'd certainly be interested in looking at some of their other stuff and reviewing it. So I think the only downsides with it really are, it would be nice if you could save your songs in song mode. The app definitely needs sorting because there's something not right with that, unless again it's a me problem rather than an app problem. Be interested to hear what other people's experience has been with the app. I can't think of any other features that I would want to add to this at the moment. It does what you want it to do. It's a fairly limited bass synth, but it's a very good bass synth. And if you want a cheap, affordable analog one that also doubles up as a MIDI controller as well, then what's not to like? I don't think any of these dials send out CC messages. I would doubt it because it's all kind of analog. But obviously from a MIDI keyboard kind of thing, it's a little bit like the Korg nano controllers that they do in terms of these keyboards. So yep, great for that. So thanks for watching. If you do want to support the channel, then please feel free to do so via Patreon. There is a link to that in the excuse me, in the description. See, look, this is where I got left on the screen. It gets to 96% and it just says that every single time. So Christ knows what's up with that. But there we go. That's just me having a note about the app. All right, I'm losing my voice. This video is really long. If you've stuck with it this far, then thanks for watching. Please help support the channel and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.